A masterpiece with millions of words per day in this world, there is an emperor's throne, supreme, ruling over the ups and downs of the world. All the heavens, all the territories, all the races, and all the billions of living beings bow down and pay homage. The great world is filled with pride, and there are disputes in all regions, vying for the throne without God and competing for the strongest emperor. Chendu, the unparalleled prodigy of the human race, crossed the most terrifying catastrophe in history and fell. He was reincarnated and reborn, carrying memories of his past life and practicing again, with the aim of becoming an eternal and immortal godless ruler. Let's take a look at the path of rebirth against the heavens for a generation of supreme beings. Keywords of the novel. Eternal Emperor without pop-ups. Download the complete collection of Eternal Emperor TXT, and read the latest chapters of Eternal Emperor. Chapter 1. The Awakened Supreme. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1. The Awakened Supreme. Son, motherly goodness, wake up quickly. In the mist, a familiar voice sounded in my ear, filled with eagerness and worry, constantly calling out to my sleeping self, pulling Yichen back from the deepest consciousness. It wasn't until a long time later that Yichen finally woke up from his drowsy consciousness. When he opened his eyes, the light was dazzling, and it took him a while to adapt. He felt himself lying on a warm and comfortable big bed, with a charming and delicate woman sitting beside the bed. She had a fair and delicate skin, a hair bun, luxurious clothing, and a graceful and beautiful appearance, making her a wealthy lady. The beautiful woman, with tears in her eyes, held his palm and occasionally shed tears, eagerly calling out her name with sadness and sorrow. Not far away, there was a 14 or 15-year-old maid who was as beautiful as a flower, standing tall and graceful, with red lips and white teeth. Her appropriate clothes outlined several tempting curves of the maid's advanced and delicate body. A delicate little beauty was also eagerly looking at Yichen on the bed. She opened her big black eyes and suddenly saw the young master, who had been unconscious for a long time, finally open his eyes. She was overjoyed and danced, calling out repeatedly, "Madam, look quickly. The young master has woken up, he has woken up." Hearing the little maid shout, the beautiful woman quickly looked over. As soon as she saw it, tears kept falling in her beautiful eyes, but she was pleasantly surprised and cried, "Morning, are you awake? Isn't this nonsense?" Lying on the bed, Yichen gave a helpless smile, but as she looked at her mother's concerned and hopeful eyes, she softened and said weakly, "Mom, I'm awake. Don't worry, I'm fine, but my body is still a bit weak." Upon hearing this, the beautiful woman burst into tears and immediately rushed out, leaving behind a sentence. "Wait, I'll go call your father to come and take a look." Yichen originally wanted to refuse, but unfortunately, his mother had already rushed out and had no time to persuade him to stay, so he had to give up. "In this life, I have finally been reborn as a person." The young man's lips moved slightly and murmured to himself. At this moment, there were too many memories in his mind, constantly emerging from the deepest depths, causing him a moment of confusion. It was only after a moment that he understood everything. "I am Chendu, the young generation supreme Chendu, one of the strongest young generation in the world." Yichen had a clear understanding of both past and present lives, and understood everything. His past life was brilliant, with unparalleled talent. He was an invincible young supreme figure, fighting the path of the great emperor, singing and advancing vigorously, competing with the strongest young arrogance in the heavens and the world, and competing for the position of ruler in heaven and earth. The human emperor. Before his amnesia, he could be said to have surpassed an era, causing countless celestial beings in the world to lose their colors and feel dejected. Faced with him, he could only be looked up to like a mountain and could not be crossed. He is able to compete with several of the most terrifying enemies in the world on the path of the emperor, attracting worldwide attention, and is hailed as one of the most proud and supreme beings with the most chance to become the emperor. Similarly, he is also the ruler of a large world and a small divine realm, the supreme ruler of a divine realm, commanding billions of beings. How majestic and glorious he is, he can be extremely brilliant, shining brightly on the heavens and territories, and who can compete with him? But unfortunately, heaven envied talents. When he finally broke through the great realm, he unfortunately encountered the most terrifying supreme calamity in the world. A double calamity emerged together, and even the 9 incarnations of heaven, including the heavens, the blue sky, the yellow sky, and the underworld, appeared in the calamity, creating an unprecedented taboo heavenly calamity. This is the most terrifying catastrophe in the world, capable of annihilating everything. And back then, Chendu was too powerful, overwhelming countless young heroes in the heavens and territories with just one person, stunning them for eternity. All major enemies were unwilling to watch him grow up, fearing that he would truly become the ruler of the world in the future. When he crossed the tribulation, he would add fuel to the situation and risk the fatal danger of being punished by heaven. In the end, he paid a heavy price, causing him to be seriously injured and dying. Finally, due to the sealing of Emperor Guan, he was forcibly sacrificed by 7 ancient great powers. Those former king friends learned the news too late and were ultimately unable to lend a helping hand in time. Chendu ultimately had no choice but to fall. However, there was still a glimmer of vitality in the dark. In the end, he was reincarnated and reborn, and all the memories of his past life were still there. Yi Chen sighed slightly, and in this lifetime, he is also 16 years old. The little maid leaned over to the bed and burst into tears of joy when she saw the young master wake up. Her big eyes were red and she choked up, saying, "Young master, you finally wake up. If you don't wake up again, the old lady will go crazy." After awakening, he still retained the memories of these 16 years, naturally knowing the causes and consequences of all of this. After understanding what had happened, even oneself was speechless. He almost died, jumped into the river to commit suicide, or was it for a girl who had deceived him? He was blinded by love and couldn't accept the cruel fact of being deceived, so he jumped into the lake to seek death. In the end, he was discovered and rescued from the cold lake water. However, after returning, he fell into a coma for 3 days and nights, his breath was weak, and he spent a lot of money using spiritual materials and medicinal treasures. Only then did he finally catch a bite of anger and survive. "Can you stop being so cowardly?" Yi Chen lamented, for his own incompetence in this life, even he had the urge to slap himself. To be despicable. In the past, I was able to survive even after being besieged by enemies from all over the world. But now, I almost jumped into the river to commit suicide for a woman. This method of death has been passed down, and it has been known by the former enemies and people from all over the world. I'm probably laughing to death, it's too suffocating. But when I think of my original self, for the sake of Iwu, a light sigh represents a lot of emotions, and his thoughts are mixed, recalling the past's directness, with indescribable emotions that are difficult to express. The little maid looked at the young master with a furrowed brow and couldn't help but whisper, "Young master, what's wrong with you? Are you still in pain?" "No," Yi Chen shook his head as he lay in bed. Seeing the delicate and charming face of the little maid, he suddenly smiled and hooked his finger. "Huaner, come here for a moment." "Young master, what's up?" The little girl Huaner obediently leaned forward. At this moment, Yi Chen suddenly took action and touched the delicate and tender little face of the maid who was leaning over her head. She playfully chuckled and said, "I'm thinking about how to trick Huaner. Hee, this little face is really white and tender. I like it." "Ah!" Huaner exclaimed in surprise, quickly taking several steps back. Her face turned red like fire, and she was charming. She twisted her hands behind her, feeling very shy. "Young master, you are bullying Huaner." "Ha!" Yi Chen laughed heartily, causing an immediate injury on his body. He couldn't help but cough, which made Huaner very worried. Ignoring the young master's teasing, he rushed forward and said with concern, "Young master, are you okay? Can it be okay? Compared to before, this frail body is really much worse." Yi Chen smiled bitterly and shook his head. He didn't expect that his once mighty self would also have such a bleak day. But when I think about it, this is not the first time. Why do I always feel so sad? Nyezi, you finally want to wake up. With a loud shout, the door was pushed open with a loud bang, and before anyone arrived, the roar arrived. You don't have to think about it, Yi Chen also knows that it must be the old father of this life who came over. Sure enough, a tall and handsome middle-aged man walked in with great strides, dressed in a luxurious robe and purple gold satin clothes. He was dressed in luxurious attire, with a rare sense of authority in his eyebrows, appearing calm and majestic. Behind her, the beautiful woman followed up and blushed, saying, Yi Ao, why are you roaring? I didn't see that Chenna had just woken up. Is her body still very weak? Yi Ao is the name of Yi Chen's father, while her mother is Xia Wei, who is as beautiful as her name. Yi Ao's expression slightly calmed down, and with a hum, he came to Yi Chen's bedside. Watching Yi Chen truly wake up, although he was also very excited, he desperately held back and said, Did you really wake up? Are you talking nonsense, old man? Yi Chen almost rolled his eyes, but when he remembered their identities and saw their caring eyes, his heart couldn't help but soften and he let out a sigh. The beautiful woman sat by the bedside and tightly grasped Yi Chen's fair palm. She wept and said, My son, don't scare your mother anymore. But she can't afford to be scared like you. Don't try to die again, okay? Yi Chen originally wanted to say something, but when he saw the close and caring emotions of the few people in the room, it was a genuine family relationship, a parental love that he found difficult to feel as an orphan in his past life, and he almost burst into tears. All kinds of words were spoken in my throat, but in the end, there was only one gentle sound, which surpassed thousands of words. It was during a gentle conversation that a servant hurriedly ran over and respectfully said, Master, Madam, young master, the people of the Yang family have arrived, and Miss Yang Yi's coming-of-age invitation letter has also arrived. People from the Yang family. Miss Yang. At this moment, Yi Chen's eyes sparkled brightly, appearing very dazzling. Yang Yi, it is the woman who committed suicide for love before awakening her memories. P.S. New book upload. I hope that fans who like Xingchuan can provide more support, recommendations, book reviews, and tips. The new book promotion will start in the next few days, with non-stop giveaways of mobile phone bills, membership, book coins, mysterious gifts, and more. It is more likely to receive the new 15-year smartphone. Please stay tuned. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. Tiandu Continent. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2. Tiandu Continent. Yang Yi has arrived, and it is she who caused Yi Chen, who had not awakened her memories in this lifetime, to commit suicide for love. How could Yi Chen not know this woman? Even because of this lifetime, she was so familiar that she couldn't be more familiar. In the room, upon hearing the arrival of the Yang family, Yi Ao and Xia Wei's faces immediately changed, appearing very angry. It can be said that the cause and effect of all this was due to Yang Yi's mistake, which almost caused their only parent-child to commit suicide. Now they still have the face to come to the door in person. Especially as the lord of the city, his father Yi Ao, who was a bit irritable, snorted coldly as he brushed his sleeves and said, This brave little girl dares to come knocking on her door now. Do you want to show off and see a good show? If anyone comes, please drive them all away for the lord of the city. Xia Wei quickly grabbed her husband's hand and asked him to shut up. She then looked at her son who had just woken up on the bed and cautiously said, Chenner, look, do you want to see Yang Yi? Although Yi Chen's mother is also very angry about Yang Yi's actions, in the end, Yang Yi is a heartache of her son. She has liked someone for such a long time and cannot change at all. As a mother, she has to consider her son's feelings. Although Yi Chen was still a bit weak in bed, he nodded and said, See you, I really want to see her too. In fact, Yi Chen's intention was just to meet Yang Yi, and he didn't mean much. Perhaps he should thank the other party for their indirect help. Just hearing it in their parents' ears was a different meaning, thinking that Yi Chen still couldn't forget Yang Yi, making them sigh silently and helplessly. Xia Wei could only say, if Chener wants to see you, let's go see him. However, don't get too excited. The doctor said that you are still very weak and being too excited is not good for your health. Yi Chen nodded and said, Mom, don't worry, my son won't get excited anymore. I hope so, the two elders can only sigh. The lady said. Huaner, the young master is even weak. First let the young master eat some congee to replenish his strength, and then help the young master to go to the hall. Chener, you can come by yourself later. Mother and your father go first to kill the prestige of the Yang family. After speaking, the two of them left straight away, leaving Yi Chen helpless, but also feeling a warmth in their hearts that they had never experienced before. It was the love from their parents, something they had never seen in their past lives, and a different kind of love from their younger sister. During this time of eating, Yi Chen was also organizing various memories of this life. The fusion of memories from 2 lifetimes made him realize that the place where he was reborn in this life was an unheard-of continent. The Tiandu continent. The Tiandu continent is vast, with hundreds of countries of all sizes. Among them, the 3 major empires are the hegemons of the Tiandu continent, followed by 108 medium-sized kingdoms, and hundreds of smaller vassal states, occupying almost the vast territory of the Tiandu continent. The remaining half of the territory is occupied by the endless wilderness forest, where countless terrifying demon beasts occupy and divide the Tiandu continent equally with humans. Even human forces dare not provoke the demon beast clan casually. Despite this, the Tiandu continent is vast and boundless, and even if an ordinary person has spent 10 lifetimes, they may not be able to cross it, indicating its vastness. The Yi family, where Yi Chen is located, is one of the 108 kingdoms in the Xia Feng kingdom, located in the northwest region of the mainland. It is a kingdom ranked in the middle and bottom of the 100 kingdoms in the Tiandu continent, and the region can be as far east and west as 10,000 miles. The Yi family is located in a feudal lord city near the border of Xia Feng Kingdom, named Luofeng City. In Luofeng City, there are 3 major families, with 3 main cities. The most powerful among them is the Yi family, where Yi Chen belongs. They are the lord's family, a prestigious family that has been enfeoffed by the royal family for generations, and are in charge of the entire Luofeng City. They are also appointed as frontier ambassadors. Secondly, there are 2 major families, the Yang family and the Xia family. Although they are not comparable to the Yi family, they are all first-class families in Luofeng City, and other small forces must bow down and act according to their expressions. It is worth mentioning that in this world, reverence for martial arts cultivation can lead to continuous strength and extraordinary power through cultivation. The 4 realms commonly known by the world are postnatal, innate, martial god, and heavenly god. Each realm is further divided into 9 levels. Both the martial god and the heavenly god are not exact cultivation realms, but most people have never known the title of the realm. After reaching these 2 realms, they can both fly to heaven and escape to the earth, which is no different from the legendary gods. Therefore, they are known as the martial god and the heavenly god by the world. Of course, the so-called divine realm is not yet the limit. There are even stronger beings above the divine realm, but compared to the ordinary people in this heavenly capital continent, the divine realm is already the strongest realm they recognize. After truly experiencing cultivation, as long as one goes through a period of hard work and reaches the acquired realm, one can possess 100 pounds of tremendous power, and continuously improve along with the improvement of the realm. The higher the realm, the stronger the strength. Even if you weigh tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of pounds, there are still plenty of people. Some truly powerful figures in the world can even move mountains and seas, possessing great supernatural powers that surpass others. Even shooting down stars outside the realm is not impossible. It is rumored that there is a truly unparalleled existence that can instantly flatten an ancient great country, erase it from the world, and disappear. These methods are the true means of communication, which is awe-inspiring. Of course, these are all legends. After all, let alone a Xia Feng country. Even the vast Tiandu continent has never given birth to such an unparalleled existence. Those are all recorded in ancient books and come from invincible beings outside the region. Of course, for the general public, it is difficult to distinguish between true and false, and they are mostly read as myths and unofficial histories. However, as long as you practice, you can master powerful power, which is not false at all. At least, Yi Chen's father Yi Ao is a powerful cultivator, the first expert in Luofeng City, with a strong cultivation level. It is said that he is not far from the legendary martial god realm, and lifting 10,000 pounds of giant stones is not a problem. Yi Chen's understanding of these martial arts is basically the same as that of Yi Chen in his previous life, except that some realm names are slightly different, and he knows more and more in detail, because he was an unparalleled strong person who surpassed the gods. It's just a pity that he doesn't know exactly where this heavenly capital continent is located. According to his understanding, it's still within the realm of all the heavens and all the territories. Because the heavens and territories are too vast, even stronger than in the past life, one cannot travel through them, let alone in this life. Only by becoming strong can one step out of this heavenly capital continent. Unfortunately, now he has experienced some cultivation. Triple cultivation the day after tomorrow. This kind of cultivation can only be said to be slightly stronger than ordinary people. In the acquired realm, the first 3 levels are mainly focused on exercising muscles and bones, strengthening the body, and having slightly greater strength than ordinary people. Only the 4th level starts to be stronger. After feeling this cultivation, Yi Chen couldn't help but be speechless. It wasn't until the age of 16 that he reached the 3rd level of the day after tomorrow, not to mention being a useless cultivator. No wonder in memory, he was often scolded as a waste of the Yi family, even those servants and maids didn't look up to him very much. Those tribal people are even openly mocking and secretly mocking themselves. Although I am the son of the lord of the city and family, due to my cultivation, and in this world where strength is paramount, my status is not high. Just one thing worth mentioning is that he is only the 3rd person the day after tomorrow, but he was once. Xia Feng is the youngest innate master in the history of the country, a 13-year-old innate realm unparalleled genius. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. Yang Yi. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3. Yang Yi. At first, memories merged, and after learning about this, even Yi Chen, who had been the supreme figure in his previous life, couldn't help but take a slight breath. A 13-year-old innate master, this should be such a wicked talent. Even if a genius has good talent, it usually takes after the age of 20 to reach the innate realm, which is already a genius that the entire Tiandu continent has attracted attention to. A 13-year-old innate expert. Not to mention being the first in the history of the entire Tiandu continent, it's probably about the same. And this is just the son of an ordinary lord of a medium-sized kingdom, without the abundant cultivation resources in ancient holy lands that even great powers would be moved by. With one's own efforts, this step can be achieved. Such talent can definitely be called a demon. The once emotional, he was still such a demon genius, but why did he become a triple heaven and earth when he first woke up? This is the strangest thing that confuses him as well. With the continuous fusion of memories, Yi Chen gradually understood all the reasons. At the age of 14, he was known as the most outstanding genius of the entire Xia Feng country and had participated in the king's ancient road trial, which was known as the peak event of the young generation in the Tiandu continent. This is a trial path that only the most outstanding talents are eligible to participate in. The original, Yi Chen, was already qualified, but encountered a lifelong enemy with immense power, who shattered the elixir field and abolished his years of hard work, driving him out of the ancient path. Dantian is the main place for cultivators to store their power. Once broken, their power is completely lost and cannot be reversed. It can only be reversed if it is done by a legendary celestial god or under the guidance of an immortal pill. Unfortunately, he in the beginning was not so lucky. His cultivation was almost exhausted, and the remaining strength remained in his body, leaving only the third level in the day after tomorrow. From then on, it was difficult to make further progress. From then on, Yi Chen fell from the brilliant altar of genius, never recovered, and became a useless person who was abandoned by the world. This kind of blow is enough to make anyone crazy. No matter how good his nature was at the beginning, he was also hard to bear the blow, and since then he has sunk, no longer the various styles of the proud son of heaven. And the recent suicide actually has some reasons behind it. So there is still such a past, Yi Chen sighed, roughly understanding the causes and consequences. A peerless genius who was once admired by thousands of people, was ambushed on the ancient path of the king, and his cultivation was completely ruined. After many years of cultivation, he scattered and became a useless person, sinking from then on. Moreover, with the guidance of the world, from admiration and admiration to disdain and disdain, from the gap between heaven and hell, and the fusion of memories, he can feel such a blow, which can be said to be extremely painful. There are also a few people in the world who can be hit. No wonder he, before awakening in this life would sink. At this very moment, Yang Yi appeared. At that time, Yi Chen felt pain in his heart and couldn't bear the blow. He once rushed out like a madman and arrived at the shore of a lake outside the city. He knelt down and howled mournfully, shedding tears of pain, hating why the heavens had treated him this way. He was in excruciating pain and wanted to commit suicide by throwing himself into the lake. At that moment, a graceful and beautiful figure appeared, with green silk like a waterfall, delicate and beautiful, dressed in white and plain, gracefully approaching like a fairy. Yang Yi appeared. At the age of 16, she was beautiful, generous, gentle, and graceful. Although she was still young, she possessed a mature charm that surpassed her age. She slowly approached Yi Chen and gently embraced him, comforting him and lighting up his entire dimly lit world. People are often most grateful for the person who helped them in times of adversity, and Yi Chen is still in the prime of youth and the beginning of love. He fell in love at first sight with the beautiful and generous Yang Yi. Despite knowing the causes and consequences, and knowing that Yi Chen was no longer the glamorous son of heaven, Yang Yi did not reject or dislike him at all. On the contrary, she frequently cared about Yi Chen and comforted him gently, saying that even if the whole world gave up on him, she would not give up. So the initial feelings of Yi Chen emerged in this life. The two of them walked together, disregarding gossip and gossip. The young princess of the Yang family always cared about Yi Chen, causing countless young handsome men in the city to cry in pain. She also became the only Yi Chen and made a vow of loyalty. At that time, in the psychological aspect of Yi Chen, Yang Yi was the most beautiful and best woman in the world, beautiful, gentle, and peaceful. No woman in the world could match her, even 1 in 10,000. In private, Yi Chen regards Yang Yi as his future wife and treats her well in every way possible. He can do anything for her, just to make her smile, that's all. Two people holding hands, fingers clasped tightly, sweet and envious of others. At that time, Yi Chen naively believed that it would continue for a lifetime. Unfortunately, dreams were beautiful, reality was cruel, and everything was shattered 2 years later. Originally, the so-called promises of mountains and seas were just lies, and Yang Yi finally revealed her true purpose in the following 2 years. The Qingling Pill. The so-called Qingling Pill is a rare and extraordinary treasure pill obtained by the Yi family at a great cost. It is priceless and can put people's body and mind in an ethereal state. It has extraordinary use in breaking through boundaries, especially in breaking through innate limitations. It also has the miraculous effect of treating serious illnesses. At that time, Yi Chen hesitated. This Qingling pill was crucial, but at that time, Yang Yi's charming face was filled with tears, crying and telling Yi Chen that her mother, who had been extremely good to her since childhood, suffered from a serious illness and was on the brink of death. Even the famous doctors from all over the country were helpless. Now, only the Qingling pill can save her mother. Under the pressure of helplessness, she can only plead with Yi Chen. Her pear blossoms bring rain, and her beauty sheds tears, making her heart tremble. Moreover, even if her mother dies, she cannot live, using this to force Yi Chen. She also said that as long as Yi Chen can really take it over, she is willing to marry Yi Chen immediately. Yi Chen, who fell in love, was blind and could not withstand the attack of the beauty. He was blinded by love and deceived the guards in the quiet of the night in the name of his father. He secretly stole the Qingling pill and sent it to Yang Yi overnight. Afterwards, the family became furious when they found out that even if their father was the lord of Luofeng City or a contemporary family leader, they could not protect him. The elders severely punished Yi Chen and imprisoned him for half a month, and even subjected him to severe torture and interrogation to inquire about the whereabouts of the Lingdan. Yi Chen refused to say anything. Finally, after Yi Chen was released, he unexpectedly learned that Yang Yi's mother was not sick at all. It was just that the other party wanted to break through their innate needs and incited Yi Chen to steal their own Qingling pill. From beginning to end, in fact, Yang Yi never really liked him. Everything was carefully planned, starting from when Yi Chen became a useless person from the Temple of Genius. She approached herself, just to get this Qingling pill. After learning all of this, Yi Chen couldn't bear the blow of his beloved deceiving him. He was heartbroken and returned to the small lake where he first met Yang Yi. The starting point and ending point of everything were also the same. He chose to jump into the lake to commit suicide, ending this relationship and his own life. The causes and consequences of all of this are like this. After learning the truth, Yi Chen shook inside. She was such a fool. Yang Yi is a little princess with a bright future and is praised in the palm of her hand. How could she like herself, a useless person abandoned by the world, for no reason? Isn't this obvious? To be blamed, it can only be said that before awakening, he was too naive, like a blank sheet of paper, very foolish and naive, and too easily deceived. However, perhaps we should also thank Yang Yi. If it weren't for her, it would not have awakened the memories of the past life. Perhaps this life would have been spent in waste. The Lord's mansion is very large, the largest mansion in the local Luofeng city. Led by Huan Er, he passed through numerous backyard buildings and finally stopped outside the solemn welcoming hall. The hall is spacious, beautifully framed, and magnificent, with a considerable number of people sitting at the top. Yi Ao and 3 elderly people with indifferent faces are the elders of the clan. In terms of power, they are only slightly inferior to the head of the family and have considerable power. Sometimes they make decisions about some things in the Yi family. On the other side, there were 3 men and 1 woman sitting on the mahogany chair, dressed in luxurious attire and embroidered with the character Yang on their chest. It goes without saying that they must be from the Yang family. Among the 3 male members of the Yang family, 2 elderly and 1 young man are important figures, and the table next to them is piled with precious gifts. On the chair at the edge, a flower-like girl sat dignified, dressed in a long red dress that was as beautiful as flowers. Her delicate face was pure with a hint of charm, appearing particularly charming and outstanding. At the first glance of pushing the door in, Yi Chen's gaze fell on her. Yang Yi. Causing herself to commit suicide for love in this lifetime, Yi Chen couldn't even forget that face. Compared to the gentle and peaceful memories in my memory, Yang Yi in front of me appears much more charming, with a hint of enchanting charm that captivates all living beings. Her presence has attracted the attention of many younger generations of the Yi family who have come, and she is stunning and addictive. No wonder he was able to sink into this world. With such beauty, the entire city of Luofeng is unparalleled, and there is a hint of charm mixed with purity. How could those young men under the age of 20, who were just beginning to love Do, withstand it? Before awakening, he was actually attracted by the abnormal temperament of a young girl and fell into it. At this moment, Yi Ao's face was full of anger and he patted the table and said coldly, "Anyone who comes here will drive out the people of the Yang family. We, the Yi family, do not welcome people from the Yang family." P.S. The words, He, and, Yi Chen, in the text represent the waste Yi Chen before awakening, which is to distinguish them. Please let me know the temporary update time for the new book, which is around 2 shifts a day, 1 shift at noon, and 1 shift at night around 9 o'clock. At the moment, there has not been an outbreak yet, and it is currently in the process of being saved. However, there may be an outbreak, and those familiar with Xuanyue should know how crazy Xuanyue can be once it erupts, hehe. Additionally, I am uploading new books for recommendations, tips, and reviews. Thank you. I will strive to write better new books and present them to everyone. End of this chapter. 4. Chapter 4 Emerging Dominance. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4 Emerging Dominance. I have long heard that the city lord Yi Ao is a bad-tempered stone, but I didn't expect the Yang family to come today. Before their buttocks could fully warm up, Yi Ao spoke up and drove away guests. This statement surprised the whole house, and the people of the Yang family turned pale. When they came to their door, they were immediately kicked out and spread the word. The Yang family would inevitably lose their reputation and face. However, before the people of the Yang family could speak up, an elderly member of the Yi family spoke up first and said, "Yi Ao, although you are the head of our Yi family, you also need to understand that this Yi family is not just you, but also a few of us elders. Moreover, the people of the Yang family come here as distinguished guests. Do we still need the face of our Yi family when we drive them out like this?" As Yi Chen watched the elderly man with white hair and beards glaring and drinking coldly, he knew that he was the eldest elder of the Yi family, with high status and power. Although he was not comparable to the head of the family, he was only second to him. Upon hearing this, Yi Ao snorted coldly and said, "Humph, Yi Wei, you should know that the people of the Yang family are not cowardly. They lured my son to steal the Qingling pill and gave it to this young woman, causing him to be imprisoned for half a month. In the end, he almost committed suicide for it. Now you dare to come knocking on your door, isn't it to see a joke?" One of the black-robed elders who came to the Yang family was a family elder who had a great say in the Yang family. Upon hearing this, he immediately clenched his fists and chuckled, "Lord Yi, you misunderstood. This was just a mistake between the younger generation. The child was not sensible and caused such a big trouble, and we also felt sorry. Didn't I bring Yi to apologize immediately after I found out about the situation? Yi, why don't we apologize to the lord of the city?" Yang Yi stepped forward to write a compilation with impeccable etiquette, saying, "Uncle Yi, all of this is Yi's own decision and has nothing to do with the family. I hope Uncle Yi forgives Yi, and Yi is willing to apologize." "Apologize?" Yi Ao suddenly burst out laughing, but his eyes were cold. "Yang Yi, niece, can you return the Qingling pill?" Yi Ao is quite angry about Yang Yi. In her heart, she had many ulterior motives. She knew that Yi Chen could not cultivate and was rejected by everyone, but deliberately approached him, got close to him, and made him lose his guard, using this to deceive him into losing trust. In the end, she lured Yi Chen to steal the Yi family's Qingling pill, and even caused him to commit suicide, almost dying. Such a scheming girl, no matter how beautiful and polite she is, Yi Ao is angry. If it weren't for the concern for her elder identity, I would have taught her a lesson long ago. "Sorry, Uncle Qian, Yi has already taken the Qingling pill, but Yi can compensate with something else." Yang Yi handed out a delicate white jade bottle, and someone had already stepped forward to pick it up and put it in Yi Ao's hand. Yi Ao took it over and opened it to see a faint medicinal fragrance emanating, which was refreshing and refreshing. It looked like an extraordinary product, with 5 blue pills with green spots lying at the bottom of the jade bottle, tempting the mind. This is building a foundation. Yi Ao was surprised. The foundation building pill is a spiritual pill used to build solid foundations. It is a pill made from rare pills and has a good effect on foundation building. The foundation is extremely important for any cultivator. The more solid the foundation, although it does not necessarily mean how high one will achieve in the future, at least the path of cultivation in the future will not be too rough and relatively much smoother. To refine such a pill, one must have an alchemist. Alchemists, on the other hand, are an ancient profession with a long history and are rare in the world because the pills they refine have great advantages in breaking through the realm of practitioners, causing damage to the Tao, and prolonging their lifespan. Therefore, alchemists are highly respected by people all over the world. The foundation building pill in the jade bottle is precisely crafted by alchemists. Every piece of chikuden sold is of great value, and it has a price but no market in Luofeng City, causing a sensation. In this jade bottle alone, there are as many as 5 foundation pills, which can be said to be a huge wealth, not to mention the value of the city is not much different. Yi Ao looked at the people of the Yang family with suspicion, not expecting to receive such a precious foundation building pill. Even the Yi family feels quite painful with such a hand, let alone the Yang family. How could they suddenly take out such a heavy gift? Perhaps in order to reconcile the relationship between the two families and understand the importance of the Qingling pill, 5 foundation building pills were taken out as compensation. Yang Yi smiled sweetly, with a pure and charming smile that exuded a hint of charm that captivated many young members of the Yi family. She exclaimed, "Uncle Yi, these 5 foundation building pills are our apology to the Yang family. Please accept them." On the side, several other elders in the family had shining eyes. If they had this foundation building pill, it would have great benefits for their grandchildren. They could rebuild the foundation and achieve even higher success in the future. And there are as many as 5, but for them, they are much better than just one Qingling pill, which can provide a foundation for more people, especially their grandchildren. Yi Ao frowned slightly. Although he wanted to avenge his son, at the same time, he was also the head of the family and the leader of the family. He also had to consider the value of the 5 foundation building pills for the family. But are these 5 foundation building pills really just a simple apology as a gesture of apology? While he was hesitating, Yi Chen pushed the door open and entered. "Father, mother, the child has come in," Yi Chen said to the father and mother on the main seat, and slowly walked into the hall with the ring. A servant had already brought a seat next to Xia Wei, and he sat down with peace of mind. Everyone in the room's gaze fell on this unwelcome guest, with contempt, suspicion, ridicule, surprise, almost all emotions present. However, Yi Chen appeared calm and sat next to his mother. After seeing Yi Chen's arrival, the people of the Yang family changed their expressions. The young man with a handsome appearance and a mole on his right eye was named Yang Jun, who was also an outstanding descendant of the Yang family of this generation. His gaze was disdainful and contemptuous, and he was aloof and did not take it seriously. On the other hand, when Yang Yi saw Yi Chen appear, a hint of disgust flashed deep in her autumn-like eyes, and then she quickly hid and regained calmness. The innocent and slightly charming little face suddenly showed sadness and self-blame, saying, "I'm sorry, Yi Chen. I didn't mean to hurt you. Please forgive me and give me a chance." Who could not remain unmoved by such a pitiful appearance? Yi Chen had been immersed in it too many times before. Yi Chen smiled nonchalantly and said, "It's okay, I didn't take it to heart." In the eyes of others, Yi Chen was just once again lost in Yang Yi's confusion. One of the younger brothers in the Yi family couldn't help but sneer, "What's wrong? Do you still want to pursue Miss Yang Yi again, Yi Chen? Are you still not weak enough before?" Yi Chen's suicide for love has long been a big joke in the entire Yi family, but now when people mention it, they are all making fun of Yi Chen. The elders and high-ranking officials of the other Yi families watched coldly, and they looked down upon Yi Chen for committing suicide out of love, especially a useless person. If it weren't for the head and son of the family, he would have been kicked out of the house long ago. Yao was angry and clenched his fists tightly, but ultimately he was the head of the family. He didn't say much, and Yi Chen's mother and Huan Er were too afraid to say anything due to the rules. However, Yi Chen remained silent and was mistaken by others for agreeing and evading. Because every time Yi Chen was insulted and scolded by others before, he remained silent and evaded like this. The present scene is just like the past. Therefore, in Yang Jun's gaze towards Yi Chen, there was more of a strong sense of disdain and contempt. A cold smile flashed deep in Yang Yi's eyes, and she also believed that the young man who had committed suicide for her was once again captivated. However, when she looked at Yi Chen's face expression, she appeared indifferent from beginning to end, without the usual timidity and cowardice, more like not caring. Is this true? Yang Yi was slightly surprised. She felt that the young man in front of her was different from before. He was not trying to escape, but rather seemed to be genuinely indifferent, which caught her some attention. Yi Chen's face remained unchanged, and his eyes remained calm. He smiled at Yao on the main seat and said, "Father, can I show my child the foundation building pill?" Before Yao could speak, the three elders spoke up and scolded, "Yi Chen, don't mess with me. Each of these foundation building pills that the Yang family compensated us with is very important. What if you damage them? Yi Chen, you useless person. If you can't cultivate, don't look and touch casually. If you break it, it won't be as simple as imprisoning for half a month. Even your father can't help you." Other descendants of the Yi family mocked and mocked, completely ignoring the presence of the Yang family's guests. My mother Xia Wei and Huaner wanted to speak for Yi Chen, but in the face of the three domineering elders, they finally moved their lips and dared not speak. Bang! Suddenly, there was a flat and thunderous sound of tapping the table, which startled everyone. I saw the figure of the young man who always appeared weak and insecure after falling from the Temple of Genius. At this moment, his eyes flashed like lightning over the three elders and he shouted coldly, "Dare, is it you three old men or my father who is in charge of the Yi family now? He hasn't spoken yet, and you dare to interrupt. How brave! If you commit any of these crimes, it will be a great rebellion, disregarding family rules. Do you want to rebel?" At this moment, the young man showed a rare and domineering side, facing and scolding the elder, shocking the hall. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. The debate of Dan startles the hall. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5. Debating Dan startles the hall. In the hall, the voice of the young man pierced through everyone's ears like thunder, shocking everyone. He glared angrily and swept past the three elders, neither humble nor overbearing. He scolded them straightforwardly and put a rebellious hat on their heads. The crowd in the hall was surprised. Is this still the young master who was once bullied, insulted, and insecure? How come it feels like there's a new person today? Even three elders with real family power dare to scold. Yang Yixing's eyes widened, staring blankly at Yi Chen, as if she had met him for the first time. She didn't seem to be the same person as Yi Chen she had known in the past. Did he also become enlightened after committing suicide by jumping into the lake? Xia Wei and Huaner had never seen Yi Chen so domineering before. They were surprised, but more so, they were happy for Yi Chen's change. In the past, Yi Chen could only remain silent and relative, but now he dares to scold the three elders confidently. In the presence, the three elders are also considered the highest-ranking members of the Yi family. They have lived for more than a year and have always been high. Even the head of the family can sometimes be ignored. However, now they are publicly reprimanded by a younger generation and have seized such a rebellious hat. They are also despised, useless people in their eyes, and they are even more angry. Okay. The elder said 3 good words in a row, but anyone could hear the anger in his words. He looked at Yao and said, "Yao, is this your good son?" Even the old man dares to scold him. He is really arrogant and lawless. He has committed the following crimes. Even if the distinguished guest of the Yang family is present today, he will teach him a lesson. The second and third elders were also helping out, saying, "Not bad, I dare to do this at a young age. When I grow up, I will still be able to do it. I must give it a good lesson, otherwise it will ruin the legacy of my Yi family." For his son's sudden reprimand, Yi Ao was more surprised than happy. After scanning the three elders sharply, he snorted coldly and said, "Chendu is right. I am the head of the Yi family, and I haven't spoken yet. When will it be your turn for the three elders to speak up and shut up for me? Do you really want to rebel?" Upon hearing this, the three elders changed their expression slightly. They could hear the coldness in Yi Ao's words and wanted to refute them. However, they remembered that Yi Ao was also the head of the family, and if they were to cause chaos in front of outsiders, they would lose the face of the family. After all, they just moved their lips and didn't continue, brushing their sleeves with a cold snort. However, this face must be regained later, especially when it comes to building foundations. "Father!" Yi Chen called out and requested again. Yi Ao was obviously very happy and laughed heartily, saying, "Okay, okay. Since Chendu asked, I, as a father, naturally wouldn't refuse. Come on, let me show you." Seeing the servant deliver the jade bottle containing 5 foundation building pills to Yi Chen's hand, the other descendants of the Yi family all had jealous eyes. However, remembering his useless identity, they immediately disappeared and sneered in their hearts, "It's better for you useless person to take a look. Since you can't practice and don't use the foundation building pills, you can only broaden your horizons." Yi Chen took the jade bottle, shook the body, and immediately poured out a foundation building pill. He placed it in his palm and carefully observed it for a moment. "Hey, Yi Chen, have you read enough? Even if you continue to read, you won't be able to use it, ha ha ha." The children of the Yi family not far away are all laughing and laughing proudly. They are all the grandchildren of the 3 elders and are not afraid of the identity of Yi Chen, the son of the head of the family. Yang Yi also appeared slightly surprised, only thinking of Yi Chen's useless identity, and then shook her head again, thinking that the other party was just pretending to be mysterious. The previous scolding of the family elders could only be considered a temporary courage. Yi Chen gave these younger brothers a faint glance and said, "What kind of noise is it?" "Shut up, young master. You guys are a disgrace to our Yi family. Don't you know that we shouldn't make noise when facing guests and disturb the cleanliness of the living room? Even if we can't do this etiquette well, it's a disgrace to our Yi family." After a sentence fell, it immediately made these younger generations extremely angry. However, upon feeling the warning gaze from the head of the family and several elders, they immediately shut up. The gaze towards Yi Chen was filled with resentment, and they thought to themselves that after leaving the hall, they must find a chance to retrieve the venue and make this useless person look good. Yi Chen turned a blind eye to these resentful gazes, and these people were not yet within his grasp. Want revenge? He has 10,000 ways to make them regret it. Almost everyone mocked and looked down upon Yi Chen's observation of the elixir, but Yi Ao was surprised to find that in the face of such a precious elixir, Yi Chen took it very seriously, without any greed or frustration, as if an alchemist were carefully observing it. It was strange. Did he read it wrong? Why did he feel like his son today is a different person than before, becoming more confident, domineering, and calm, no longer the cowardly and insecure son he used to be? Another mysterious old man from the Yang family looked at Yi Chen, and he had a feeling that this young man, who was seen as useless, was not simple. Young Jun saw that Yi Chen had been looking at it for a while, almost every foundation building pill, and sneered, "Yi Chen, young master Yi, don't you know what you've seen after all that time?" "You're right, I did see something." Yi Chen raised his head and smiled at him, then looked at Yang's parents and said, "Are these 5 foundation building pills top-notch, Elder Yang?" Danyao can also be classified into 3 levels. Upper, middle, and lower. Strictly speaking, it is even more divided into 10 levels. The upper, middle, and lower levels can only be considered as the 3 levels of each level. The worst is only 1 grade, while the 10th grade is supreme. Seeing Yi Chen ask a question, Elder Yang shook his head and said, "Yi Chen, you misunderstood. Although the building foundation pill is only a 2nd grade pill, it has been lost in the current world of alchemy. It is not easy to refine top quality building foundation pills, but this is also average. I think even apologizing is not too bad." Although it was so, there was a confident smile on Elder Yang's old face. Even if it's just a medium-sized foundation building pill, these 5 are definitely worth a lot of money. Even if you exchange them for a Qingling pill, they are almost equivalent in value. At this moment, a hint of coldness flashed on Yi Chen's face and he said, "2nd grade, average. In my opinion, the Yang family still hasn't sincerely apologized. You should take these foundation building pills back and then bring the Qingling pill back." What does it mean? Upon hearing this, the elder of the Yang family's face changed, and everyone looked at Yi Chen, especially Yang Jun, who shouted coldly, "Kid, what are you talking about? Do you dare to question our Yang family? Or do you think you, a useless person, can see?" Before the words could be spoken, a terrifying force overwhelmed Yao from the main seat, emanating a terrifying aura. His entire body showed a flow of true energy, and the powerful oppression of the innate strength passed, as if a mountain had hit him, making his face pale and unbearable. "Lord Yi, wait a moment." Elder Yang immediately took action and blocked Yang Jun, letting the innate pressure dissipate. However, his face turned slightly pale. He didn't expect Yao to have reached this point in recent years and was about to make a new breakthrough. On the other hand, another elderly member of the Yang family also took action. He appeared very mysterious, wearing a black robe and unable to even see his face clearly. However, the pressure of Yao dissipated between his sleeves, making people pale. He was definitely a terrifying figure. He looked at Yi Chen and spoke in a hoarse and indifferent voice, "What do you mean by that?" Yi Chen glanced at this mysterious old man a little longer. After reviving his past life memories, his perceptual ability also improved significantly. Although it was not as good as his past life, it was not bad. He realized that this mysterious old man appeared even more obscure than his own father, making him a very terrifying figure. He glanced strangely at the people of the Yang family, wondering where they found such a helper. "I'm afraid these 5 foundation building pills are also related to this person." Yi Chen's face remained unchanged as he pinched a foundation building pill with his fingers, speaking slowly. However, the words he uttered shocked everyone present. If I were to say, these 5 foundation building pills are not really so called 2nd grade or even 2nd grade or inferior pills. At most, they can only be considered inferior foundation building pills. I'm probably right, a few guests of the Yang family. He gave a cold smile and looked at several members of the Yang family. Everyone was shocked. Constantly seeking free recommendations, thank you. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. I forgive you. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6. I forgive you. Are all 5 foundation building pills just defective products? Everyone appeared surprised, and the atmosphere in the hall quietly became quite tense. Everyone in the Yi family looked ugly. This time, the Yang family came to apologize and only brought 5 defective foundation building pills. If it were really like what Yi Chen said, the Yang family would have seemed too much, it was simply deceiving others. Although the 5 foundation building pills are precious, for a family, face is often more important than tangible things. If we really apologize with defective products, the face of the Yi family will also be ruined. Yang Yi's pure and charming face showed a startled expression, thinking to herself that Yi Chen could not have known. He was just a useless person and could not have seen it. But when she saw Yi Chen's confident and determined gaze, for some reason, Yang Yi's intuition was that the other person was seeing it, which surprised her even more. What has happened these past few days? This useless person Yi Chen seems to have undergone some kind of change. The other members of the Yang family were also surprised, and Elder Yang had a hint of nervousness flashing through his face. However, he concealed it well and couldn't admit it all. He immediately sneered at Yi Chen with a cold face and said, "Kid, what nonsense are you talking about? This is a genuine foundation building pill, second grade, medium grade, with a light and persistent fragrance. Where is any defective product? If you don't believe it, members of the Yi family can take a look. My Yang family is definitely not deceiving anyone. In fact, many people in the Yi family hold a skeptical attitude towards this, and even many choose to believe in the people of the Yang family. If someone personally comes to apologize like this, no matter how bold the person in charge of measuring the Yang family is, they will not dare to apologize in person with defective products. Spreading this will only damage the reputation of the Yang family and completely worsen the relationship between the two families, without any benefit. Moreover, it is difficult for alchemists and those who are proficient in this art to discern the quality of pills." In the hall, many descendants of the tribe were shouting, "Yi Chen, you're just a useless person. Do you still know how to refine pills? If you don't understand, don't come out and make a fool of yourself. It will only disgrace our Yi family. Hurry up and shut up. That's right, don't pretend to understand if you don't understand." The Yang family's esteemed guests came to apologize with such sincerity, but were insulted by you, which could easily cause discord between the two families. Several elders, I suggest teaching Yi Chen a lesson to calm the Yang family's esteemed guests' anger. Many people in the audience were drinking and cursing at the young master, and Huaner's pink and tender face was full of anger. Considering her low status, she dared not speak up. Yi Chen shook his head helplessly. Are these the so-called clan members? It's really disappointing to be at a critical moment when there is no alignment between the outside and the inside. Bang! On the main seat, Yi Ao slapped the table with such great force that he almost shattered the entire table. His eyes scanned these younger children, causing them to shudder and never dare to speak again. Later, he looked at his son and frowned, saying, "Chener, don't speak recklessly about this matter as it can easily lead to disputes. If you admit your mistake, take the time. My mother around me was also persuading me with kind words, Chener, this matter must not be talked about recklessly." In her eyes, there were also some who believed that Yi Chen was only angry because of Yang Yi's accident, and that he spoke these angry words. However, Yi Chen looked confident and determined, patted his mother's fair jade hand, and smiled, saying, "Don't worry, Dad, Mom, the child will definitely not talk nonsense. This proves it to you." Later, he looked at Elder Yang and another mysterious old man and said, "You too, I'm not wrong." Elder Yang couldn't admit it and snorted coldly, "Young man, you're still young and don't know what a pill is. If you're not clear, don't say it casually. Having confidence is good, but being too confident is arrogance, it's ignorance. You still don't want to admit it now, do you?" Yi Chen smiled, but the curve at the corner of his mouth was playful. "Since that's the case, I'll prove it to everyone." Elder Yang wanted to disdain it, but when he saw the young man's determined gaze, for some reason, he felt a sense of unease in his heart and his gaze couldn't help but fall on the other person. Yang Yi spoke at this moment, her eyebrows slightly furrowed and her red lips slightly parted, saying, "Yi Chen, stop making trouble. This is not good for you." Yi Chen only gave her a faint glance, without the passionate and infatuated gaze of the past. Accompanied by an indifference, he grasped the foundation pill in his hand, allowing everyone present to see it clearly. He said, "The foundation pill, as a second-grade pill, is divided into 3 grades. Upper, middle, and lower. Generally speaking, if the pill's body is smooth, like jade, pure and flawless, and the pill's fragrance is strong but does not disperse, it is considered superior. Medium in color, with a hint of green in the body of the elixir. It is a harmonious color, with a semi-green and semi-green color. The elixir fragrance is neither light nor strong. Lower grade, the elixir appears green in color, and the fragrance of the elixir fades. But, Yi Chen said with a turn, pointing to the foundation building pill in his hand, he said. The foundation building pill like this is mainly green, but it has green spots, but it is not between the lower and the middle. Strictly speaking, the essence in the pill is not refined properly, which leads to leakage, exposing the surface of the pill, and will make the essence of the pill pass by half, which can be called defective. But the strong fragrance of the pill is just the phenomenon caused by the fragrance of the defective pill, which is always dissipating the essence. A few members of the Yang family, shouldn't I be mistaken? Yi Chen looked at the 4 members of the Yang family and smiled slightly, with a smile full of mockery. Quiet. Everyone is quiet. Everyone's gaze fell on Yi Chen, filled with disbelief. It was unimaginable that he could say such a well-founded statement. Is this true? Even though most of the people present don't understand the art of alchemy, they just don't know why. After listening to his words, they all feel that what he said is not bad and credible. The members of the Yang family completely turned pale and looked at Yi Chen in shock. Elder Yang murmured, "How could it be? Isn't the young man from the Yi family in front of me a waste? How could I know so much?" Yang Yi's expression was complex, as if she had met Yi Chen for the first time. The mysterious old man couldn't help but take a deep look at Yi Chen, who felt that this son was definitely not simple. Seeing the expression on the face of the Yang family, Yi Ao and several elders felt a heavy heart, and felt that this matter was likely to be as Yi Chen had said. Yi Ao's expression sank and he shouted, "Yang Long, is what my son said right? Do we really need the lord of this city to invite Master Zhao De to come and identify these foundation building pills?" Master Zhao De is an alchemist from Luofeng City, who has lived in the city for a long time and is highly respected and attracted by various forces. With rich experience in alchemy, one can naturally see the quality of these foundation building pills. Upon hearing this, Elder Yang's face changed and he looked very ugly. He didn't expect to be seen through, but he still explained with ease, "Lord Yi, all elders, please give us the Yang family a chance. In fact, we don't know these foundation pills are defective, and we don't understand the quality of pills. We hope the Lord and everyone in the Yi family can forgive us." Suddenly, Yi Ao and the other members of the Yi family's face turned ugly. These words indirectly admitted that these foundation building pills were defective products. As Yi Chen said, the people of the Yang family were too insincere. Looking at Yi Chen's gaze, there was naturally surprise and admiration. As he said, these foundation building pills were just some defective products. If it weren't for his own words, they would have been deceived by the people of the Yang family this time, and they would have been happy for so long without knowing it. Isn't Yi Chen a useless person? Why do you know so much about alchemy knowledge even though you have already sunk? It's really beyond everyone's expectations. At this moment, Yang Yi stood up from the chair and bowed to apologize to Yi Ao and the 3 elders. A hint of stunning snow white appeared on her chest, which was dazzling and attracted a lot of attention. Her charming little face was filled with apologies, saying, "Uncle Yi, the 3 elders, I'm sorry. Ear and other members of the Yang family are all trapped in the drums, and we don't understand the art of alchemy. We used to feel guilty for hurting Yi Chen, but this time we just sincerely want to come and apologize, without any other intention." Then, she looked at Yi Chen, her beautiful little face pure and with a hint of unique charm in it. Her big eyes were watery, and she was about to cry, as if she was about to cry, causing pity in life. Dao said, "Yi Chen, I'm sorry. Ear really didn't mean to deceive you. This time, she just sincerely wanted to come and apologize. That's all. Can you forgive Ear this time? It depends on how we used to be together. How are you doing? The pitiful appearance of pear blossoms with rain and a lingering desire to cry, with teary eyes and a charming face, immediately made many children of the Yi family feel softened. They wished they could forgive the other party on behalf of Yi Chen, and then held Yang Yi, known as the most beautiful woman in Luofeng City, in their arms and took good care of her. Yi Chen seemed to be moved by the sight and suddenly rushed forward. Under the astonished gaze of everyone, he fiercely embraced the tender and flawless body of the young girl and said, "I forgive you." Book Group 4765162255. Also, there will be a small outbreak on Wednesday tomorrow. By the way, please find some free recommendations, which are very important for new books. End of this chapter. 7, Chapter 7 Memorial Archway. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7 Memorial Archway, I forgive you. Yi Chen seemed to be moved by the sight and suddenly rushed forward. Under the astonished gaze of everyone, he fiercely embraced the tender and flawless body of the young girl, tightly wrapped around the waist of the water snake, and up close, smelled the fresh fragrance of the young girl's virginity, so fragrant and charming. Such a wonderful person is almost the dream lover of every man. He also clearly felt the stiffness of the girl in his arms when he was being held by him. At this moment, Yang Jun's violent cheers also echoed. "Bastard, quickly release ear." Everyone was startled by Yi Chen's sudden move. It was never expected that he would publicly hold the young princess of the Yang family in his arms, almost lightly, which surprised them. Yang Yi was naturally embarrassed and angry, being held in public like this, almost close to skin, and even felt the hot masculine aura transmitted by the other party, which made her feel embarrassed and disgusted. The accumulated strength in her body was about to burst out. Even if she attacked Yi Chen at this time, I believe the people of the Yi family would have nothing to say and would only scold Yi Chen for his boldness and recklessness. But at that moment, Yi Chen suddenly let go of Yang Yi, without any attachment, took 2 steps back, and once again, beyond her reaction, her rosy little mouth opened slightly, looking at her in surprise. Yi Chen's mouth curved slightly, teasing and indifferent, and he said, "Yang Yi, may I ask, is the play enough?" A sentence that made everyone unable to react. Yang Yi felt uneasy and instinctively asked, "Yi Chen, what do you mean by that?" Yi Chen smiled slightly, and his smile was full of coldness, which made his heart tremble. "What do you mean? Don't you understand? But I just want to give you a good advice here. Don't go too far in life, and stop where you can go. If you want to be a bitch, don't set up a memorial archway, which will only make people more annoying." His faint laughter echoed through the hall, but his words were repeatedly astonishing and eye-catching. "You." Yang Yi's pretty face was full of cold colors, her pink fists tightly clenched together, staring closely at Yi Chen. All the people present were amazed at Yi Chen's amazing words. They even said that Yang Yi wanted to be a bitch and set up a memorial archway. Yang Jun fell in love with Yang Yi and pursued her for a long time. How could he tolerate such insults from others? Especially Yi Chen. He stood up and shouted angrily, "Yi Chen, what are you talking about? You have the guts to say it again." "I said she wanted to be a bitch and build a memorial archway," Yi Chen said. "You." Yang Jun's anger was inexplicable. Yi Chen Feng said lightly with a light cloud, "What are you? Didn't you ask me to pass it again?" Yang Jun was speechless, but he didn't expect this useless person from the Yi family to speak so eloquently, which surprised him and left him speechless to refute for a moment. Elder Yang's face completely darkened and he said, "Lord Yi, is this the way your Yi family treats guests?" Yi Ao looked up and said, "I didn't see anything." Yang Chanlao's anger is crooked, and there are those who are fathers like this. Hudu Zi is also very protective, isn't he? He snorted, wanting to speak harshly, but clearly felt the cold gaze of Lord Yi, as if pouring cold water from his head, and dared not speak anymore. "Yi Chen, why do you say that about me?" Even though Yang Yi had ulterior motives, she was just a young girl in her 20s, not an old guy who had lived for more than a year. She had not experienced many worldly affairs yet, and being said like this couldn't keep her calm. Did I say it wrong? Yi Chen spoke calmly, his eyes appearing so plain and natural from beginning to end. The wind was light and the clouds were gentle. Looking at Yang Yi's eyes, it seemed as if they could penetrate all her secrets, making her instinctively avoid her gaze. He said in a slightly flustered tone, "What are you doing?" "Hee, I dare not even confront a useless person like me. It's not because there's a ghost in my heart." Yi Chen chuckled, but it felt like a joke in Yang Yi's ear. He urgently asked, "What do you mean?" Yi Chen Dao said, "Yang Yi, you and I don't need to beat around the bush anymore. You approached me just to gain my trust and let me steal our Yi family's Qingling pill for you. All of this is always within your calculation. In fact, even a proud woman like you wouldn't like someone like me who is a useless cultivator. If anything goes wrong, there will always be demons. I was just too naive and didn't notice it. But it's all over. I don't care about it anymore. I really need to thank you for your help in some aspects, otherwise I won't really wake up. But don't think I'm still the stupid boy you fooled. Now you still want to play these silly tricks to cheat my sympathy. What is it that you want to be both a bitch and a memorial archway? I have to say, you're really bored." He sneered coldly, mocking Yang Yi's tricks. "Quiet. Absolutely quiet." Yang Yi raised her head and opened her rosy mouth slightly. She looked in surprise at the young man in front of her, who was as familiar with his face as ever. However, with a delicate face, there was no longer the innocence, simplicity, and humility of the past. Instead, there was an unprecedented confidence and calm nature, which made her feel a bit dazed. It was as if I had seen a peerless man with unparalleled charm appearing, which made me look up to and in awe. In these days, what has happened to the young man who used to revolve around her, and why does it make her feel like a different person? It has completely changed, no longer humble or cowardly, but confident, courageous and fearless. Is this still the useless young man Yi Chen who used to revolve around her all day? Not to mention him, even Yi Ao and his wife Xia Wei, as parents, feel the change in their son, from inside out, which is a delightful change. The mysterious old man from the Yang family never spoke up, but upon seeing Yi Chen's performance, a rare shock flashed in his eyes. It was unbelievable that he was the useless young man in the world. Such confidence and momentum have surpassed their peers by an unknown amount. Yang Jun's expression turned cold and he said, "Yi Chen, I have to admit that you do have some knowledge and good eloquence. You can distinguish the quality of building foundation pills, but that's all. There are some things you need to understand. In this world, strength is always the top priority, not just sharp teeth and sharp tongues. You have an old father who can protect you for a while, but not for a lifetime. He will eventually grow old, and after you reach the age of 16, you may completely lose your identity as the inheritor of the Yi family. At most, you can only take on some important positions, that's all. But Yi has outstanding talent. After taking the Qingling pill, she is now born. A few days ago, my young family received an invitation from the capital and has been promoted to a member of the Heavenly Level Academy of the Kingdom Summer Wind Academy. In 3 months, she will go to the academy for further studies and will be exposed to higher level cultivation. She will become even stronger in the future. And you can only stay stagnant for a lifetime. Your words today may have been very heartwarming and may have gained temporary prestige, but there is also a possibility of lifelong consequences in the future." The people of the Yi family suddenly changed their faces, even Yi Ao and the 3 elders had a surprised expression on their faces. An 18-year-old innate powerhouse. At a young age, he is an innate master. Such talent is unparalleled, not to mention the small Luofeng city, even in the entire Xiafeng kingdom, and even among countless people in the entire Tiandu continent. And the Xiafeng Academy is also a famous institution sponsored by the Xiafeng royal family, which has been established for as long as the Xiafeng kingdom. It has the richest cultivation resources, the best cultivation mentors, and the most comprehensive cultivation methods in the country, much better than some other powers. Xiafeng Academy has always only recruited elite children from the kingdom, and only truly outstanding young talents are allowed to enter. The threshold is very high. Of course, there are also some kingdoms where true elites can spend a lot of money and enter through the back door, but at least a few. For the entire Xiafeng country, once they enter the Xiafeng Academy, the people who come out can almost be said to be the pillars of the country, highly respected by the world, and attracted by various forces. Some outstanding individuals can even step out of the kingdom, soar to higher skies, spread their wings, and shine brightly. Every year, Xiafeng Academy only admits 500 students to the empire with millions of people, and each quota can make countless people fight for it, which can be said to be an exaggeration. Xiafeng Academy has 4 major colleges, with heaven and earth being the strongest and yellow being the worst. And Tiandu Academy is the top cultivation place of Xiafeng Academy, gathering the top talents of the entire Xiafeng kingdom. Yang Yi's becoming a member of the Heavenly Academy of Xiafeng Academy is enough to demonstrate her potential and talent. As long as she smoothly enters the academy for cultivation, she will inevitably become an extremely important figure in the Yang family in the future. She can even lead the Yang family to higher glory and suppress the Yi family, who now dominate Luofeng City. Oh no, this kid offended the Heavenly Pride girl who was able to enter the Summer Wind Academy. He will definitely be suppressed in the future. The elders all changed color, and their eyes towards Yi Chen were filled with anger. If it weren't for Yi Chen, how could they have fallen on such a field? After seeing the ugly faces of the members of the Yi family, Yang Yi, who had been suppressed by Yi Chen's words, raised her bow slightly, revealing a snow-white jade neck that was as proud as a swan, with pride. She glanced sideways at Yi Chen, wanting to see how wonderful and ugly the expression on the young man's face, which had been suppressed by words 3 or 4 times, was. However, what surprised her was that on the young man's delicate face, his expression remained as calm and composed as ever, watching everything with indifference, as if it had nothing to do with him. Not only her, but also the other members of the Yang family looked at Yi Chen's indifferent expression with a sense of shock. This kid must have been a bit too calm, right? However, Yang Jun believed that this kid was simply stunned by fear, otherwise how could he be so calm? Unfortunately, they didn't know that Yi Chen was laughing coldly in his heart. He had never heard of any Xiafeng Academy, which was just a small country's academy. In his past life, he was young and supreme, even the highest cultivation academy in the world. Wan Yufu. Such a truly huge entity was vying for him, and his vision was so high that he naturally wouldn't take a small country's academy seriously. Yang's niece is truly a genius of the Yang family, and it is only natural for her to be admitted to the heavenly level academy of Xiafeng Academy, despite breaking the rules. Yi Ao said in a deep voice, but his fists were tightly clenched. How could he not understand what the heavenly level academy of Xiafeng Academy truly represents? Perhaps all of this was due to taking the Qingling pill. The Qingling pill has a miraculous effect that allows people to break through great realms. Although it has only a success rate of 1/3, it is obvious that Yang Yi has succeeded. At such a young age, he has become a master of the innate realm, and he has been eye-catching throughout the entire Xiafeng kingdom. If it were only when Yi Chen was still a genius in the past, it would be fine, but now he looked at the mysterious old man of the Yang family, then at his son Yi Chen and the other members of the Yang family, and finally his fist weakly loosened. He really wanted to stand out for Yi Chen, but as the head of the family and the head of the clan, he had to take into account the entire family. Yang Yi is now a student of the Tiandu Academy of Xiafeng University, and she is bound to receive attention from Xiafeng University. Once she takes action, it will inevitably involve a lot of trouble. And this mysterious old man from the Yang family is also quite impressive, probably a figure from the Xiafeng Academy. At this moment, Yi Chen smiled and said, "Yang Yi, do you think that entering the Xiafeng Academy is very impressive?" You can stand tall and completely overlook me, this useless person. Before Yang Yi could speak, Yang Jun spoke up first and sneered, isn't it possible? One day, Yi is destined to rise high and become a part of the kingdom, leading the entire Yang family to a higher position. And now that the Dantian is shattered, you may not even be able to practice, destined to disappear for a lifetime. It is only natural to overlook you. Yi Chen suddenly said, is Xiafeng Academy's Tianji Academy really remarkable? Upon hearing this, almost everyone stared at him in shock, wondering if he had gone crazy again. The Xiafeng Academy represents the honor of the entire Xiafeng country, and the Heavenly Academy is only accessible to the top talents. The mysterious old man from the Yang family frowned heavily and said coldly, young man, you must not insult Xiafeng Academy. Yang Jun sneered, indeed, it's a waste. Xiafeng Academy is a place that a waste like you cannot climb up no matter what. But I used to be a special admission student at the prefecture-level college of Tiandu University. Yi Chen interrupted Yang Jun's words, and his words suddenly shocked the whole room. Today's 3 shifts, this is the first shift, 3008 characters, rare. There may have been some verbal battles, but today is over. I hope to receive more recommendations. Thank you. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. Maids. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8 Maids, Tiandu University's prefecture-level colleges. Specially recruited students. Yi Chen's words shocked the audience. No one is not shocked, even the mysterious old man is now in a daze. If Xiafeng Academy is the holy land for cultivation in Xiafeng Kingdom, then Tiandu Academy is the holy land for cultivation in the entire Tiandu continent, and there is no one. This is a holy land of cultivation that almost countless geniuses on the entire continent aspire to. Whether it is the great, small, and 100 kingdoms, or the 3 hegemonic empires, the first force that any genius chooses to join is the Tiandu Academy. Because Tiandu Academy is an ancient power that has been passed down for thousands of years, with a vast cultivation resource that makes countless feudal states envious and envious. Its profound heritage accumulated over time makes this cultivation academy a formidable force that can rival the 3 great empires. On the Tiandu continent, everyone takes pride in joining Tiandu Academy. Compared to it, Xiafeng Academy is a first-class training institution in the Xiafeng Kingdom. However, compared to Xiafeng Kingdom, when looking at the entire Tiandu continent, compared to the influence of Tiandu Academy, it is almost a world of difference. It is difficult to enter the Tiandu Academy. On average, there are only 1 or 2 people in each feudal state every year, because it is only the minimum admission standard and must reach the 8th grade before the age of 17. This has stopped countless people who aspire to Tiandu University, and it is difficult to reach the sky at this step. Like Xiafeng Academy, Tiandu Academy has 4 major schools of fantasy in heaven and earth, with Tian level being the highest, D level being the second, and Huang level being the worst. In fact, the 4 major colleges of heaven and earth, Xianhuang, were passed down by Tiandu Academy, while Xiafeng Academy was just imitating them. But among the elite disciples of the so-called Heavenly Academy of Xiafeng Academy, which gathers almost all the cultivation talents of the entire continent, they may only be considered at most at the level of Xian. This is the difference between a national university and a mainland university, like a world of difference. Just Yi Chen, who used to be, was a peerless genius who was admitted to the prefecture-level colleges of Tiandu University in an exceptional way. This has overshadowed the so-called Tianji Academy disciples of Xiafeng Academy countless times. Almost everyone has forgotten what a stunning genius Yi Chen was in the past, so stunning that even mainland holy sites like Tiandu Academy couldn't help but throw an olive branch. Both the Yi and Yang families were in a daze. The disciple of the prefecture-level college of Tiandu Academy holds such a noble status that even more attention is drawn to him than the first person of Xiafeng Academy. Yang Yi was also in a daze, looking at the young man in front of her with some complexity, 13-year-old congenital. This Xia Feng country is the youngest innate record keeper in the history of the country, unprecedented and unprecedented, causing a considerable sensation even in several nearby kingdoms. Even though she had achieved this level 5 years earlier than her genius, her current achievements are far inferior. However, this stunning achievement comes from this young man who has just been ridiculed by the world. It's hard to imagine how such a 16-year-old posthumous triple scumbag boy managed to achieve innate astonishment at the age of 13. He broke the record for the entire Xia Feng kingdom, causing an unknown sensation, and even walked into that mysterious ancient road of kings. No matter how outstanding she is, she has to admit that the youth she was in the past had this charm. Unfortunately, these were just the beginning. After a moment of confusion, Yang Jun suddenly sneered, "You used to be, but now you are worthless. Yi Chen, do you still have the possibility of being on par with Ear today? Oh, I forgot, you are just a useless person with only the 3rd level the day after tomorrow." This is a cruel reality, but it is also an undeniable reality. The former Yi Chen was indeed such a stunning young genius, but unfortunately, now he is just a waste. However, Yi Chen's gaze remained calm and natural, quietly looking at Yang Yi, but this time he made a request. "Yang Yi, do you dare to bet with me?" "Bet?" Yang Yi raised her eyebrows. "What bet do you want to make? Or what qualifications do you have to bet with me now?" This is a rather infuriating statement, but it is a fact. Yi Chen is useless, while Yang Yi has a bright future. The two are not on the same starting line at all. "Just bet my life, what do you think?" Yi Chen said calmly, but once again surprised everyone in the room. "Surprisingly, I risked my life." Xia Wei's expression immediately changed and she was extremely anxious. "Chener, what nonsense are you talking about? Yang Yi's niece, don't take it seriously. He's just talking casually." Even Yi Ao, the 3 elders, and the rest of the Yang family were shocked. Many people frowned and shook their heads, thinking that Yi Chen had gone crazy for a moment and was anxious to gamble with his own life as a price. This was such a foolish thing. Yang Yi was also shocked, but immediately shook her head and said, "Miss, my life is much more valuable than yours. I won't gamble." These words breathed a sigh of relief for those who cared about Yi Chen, such as Yi Ao, Xia Wei, and Huaner. However, the next moment, Yi Chen's words once again lifted their hearts. "Since that's the case, let's bet on the Qingling pill. If you win, the Qingling pill doesn't need to be repaid by the Yang family. If you lose, all you need to do is promise me one condition. It's that simple." "Never mind," said the elder of the Yi family coldly. "The Qingling pill is of great significance, and it's not up to you as a waste to decide." "Not bad, Yi Chen, you are not qualified to gamble with the Qingling pill now." The other 2 elders agreed with the words of the elder. But Yi Ao said bluntly, "I bet. If I lose, I will repay the value of the Qingling pill." As soon as Yi Ao spoke, the 3 elders of the Yi family fell silent. "Thank you, Dad." Yi Chen looked at Yi Ao gratefully. If it weren't for his father's action, it would have been difficult for the 3 elders to agree, but the responsibility on his father's shoulders was even more difficult. He couldn't let his father down. "How do you want to gamble?" Yang Yi was very cautious and did not immediately agree. "The gambling method is very simple. 9 months from now will be the enrollment trial day of Tiandu Academy. If I, Yi Chen, lose in this trial and cannot enter Tiandu Academy, then the Qingling pill will not need to be repaid by your Yang family. If I win, you promise me a condition," Yi Chen said calmly, but the words he spoke made people tremble. "Is this kid crazy?" Many people shook their heads and sighed, thinking that this guy must have been hit crazy. A useless person who is only the 3rd level after birth, how can he pass the recruitment trial of the first holy land in mainland China, Tiandu Academy, in 9 months? But even the genius elites of Xiaofeng Academy find it difficult to enter. Isn't this crazy or what? Later, Yi Chen looked at Yang Yi's beautiful and charming face and said, "Do you dare to bet?" A few faint words can make people tremble. I didn't want to pay attention to Yi Chen's challenge, but the other party's attitude seemed to look down on her, making Yang Yi feel frustrated. Although the other party was useless and she was a genius, why did they look completely opposite? Under the gaze of one eye after another, Yang Yi gritted her silver teeth and immediately responded, "Okay, since you're willing to gamble, if I don't agree, I'll just appear petty. As long as you win, it's not just a condition. Even if you make me a servant and a maid to warm your bed, Yang Yi has agreed to you here." Faced with such a bet, several members of the Yang family just watched coldly without any objection. They did not believe that Yi Chen had the ability to pass the enrollment trial of Tiandu University. In the end, it would only be the other party's own humiliation. However, this would be even better. The matter of Qingling pill can also be written off in one stroke. It really adds to Yi Chen, a useless person. In their eyes, Yi Chen was just a useless cultivator. Even if he could cultivate, it would be even more difficult to meet the enrollment standards of Tiandu University within just 3 months. Because the admission test standards of Tiandu University are very strict, which are beyond the reach of ordinary people. Even for Yang Yi, who had never broken through before, it was just enough to reach the threshold. As for Yi Chen, it's simply impossible. Okay, since Miss Yang has agreed, for the sake of fairness and justice, we are here to make a gambling agreement. Huaner, bring me the pen, ink, paper, and inkstone. Yi Chen said loudly. Huaner quickly took the pen, ink, paper, and inkstone and handed it over. Dipping a brush in grinding ink, Yi Chen swung his brush like a brush and quickly wrote the next line of elegant handwriting on a white paper. Today, I, Yi Chen, and Yang Yi, have made a bet here. If Yi Chen cannot be admitted to Xia Feng Academy in 9 months, I am willing to pay with my life. But if I pass, Yang Yi will promise me any condition of Yi Chen. If I violate this, the sky will thunder and lightning will strike, and I will have a daughter generation as a prostitute and a child generation as a slave. Then, the boy bit his thumb, blood overflowed, and heavily pressed a blood mark on the bet. Subsequently, Yang Yi also bit her finger and branded her own mark with fresh blood, in duplicate, with each party keeping 1 copy. Starting from today, the gambling agreement is officially established. Everything was over, and Yi Chen left the hall without looking back. However, before leaving, his last sentence once again stunned the whole audience, leaving a needle in the air. Yang Yi, I am looking forward to it in 9 months. After all, after being a young master for so long, I have also lost a warm bed maid. I think your appearance and figure are barely fitting, so why don't you wash your body and get ready to warm up the bed? The second watch is delivered, and the next watch may not be until early morning, but there will still be 2 watches tomorrow. The third watch does not count towards tomorrow, so rest assured. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. Innate Corpus. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9. Innate Corpus. After leaving a stunned sentence, Yi Chen left without looking back and arrived at the back mountain of the family. Here, it is always his favorite place to stay, where he can see the clear blue sky, floating clouds, and quietly contemplate things that others don't know. Lying on the grass, looking up at the starry sky. For today's bet with Yang Yi, Yi Chen does not regret it. Although it may be difficult to cross 5 layers from the 3rd layer the day after tomorrow to the 8th layer within 9 months, it is not a problem for him. Because he has memories of his past life, this is the biggest cheating weapon he has risen to in this life, and there is no one left. With the memories of his past life, even if his dantian is shattered and his cultivation is no longer there, he still has a way to reach the peak of the Great Road. Just as he looked up at the sky, he suddenly remembered those close friends from his past life. 16 years passed in the blink of an eye, and he didn't know how his old friends were doing, let alone whether those beautiful women who had sworn to each other and experienced life and death together would still shed tears under the night sky, constantly missing him. All of this made him miss them even more, hoping to return to their side as soon as possible. After waiting silently for half a day, Yi Chen turned around and left, following the path to prepare to return to his room. At this moment, he paused and looked at the nearby forest, calling out softly, "Dad." Although his cultivation level is only the third level after birth, after awakening his previous life soul and merging, his perceptual ability far exceeds his current level, and he can perceive subtle fluctuations. In the forest, the middle-aged man slowly walked out, slightly surprised by Yi Chen's ability to perceive his own existence. However, looking at his son's face, which had always been dignified, he also had some rare warmth at this moment. He whispered, "Chen, if you don't sleep so late, be careful not to catch a cold." His gaze fell on Yi Ao's majestic face. Although he was not the real father, perhaps it was due to the bloodline of his body that made his eyes, which were orphaned in his past life and lacked family affection, feel a bit sour. "Don't turn your head and don't let your father notice your embarrassment," he said softly. "Dad, I'm looking at the stars, thinking about some people, thinking about those who I don't even know if there's a chance to see again in this life." Yi Ao was taken aback for a moment. He rarely saw Yi Chen in such a sad state, but he didn't know who he was missing. With a gentle sigh, he didn't know how to speak. After a moment of silence, Yi Ao suddenly said, "Chener, 9 months from now will be the trial day of Tiandu Academy. You don't need to worry too much. If the Qingling pill is gone, it will be gone. After all, it's all external things and nothing. As the head of the family, even the old guys dare not do anything to me. So, as long as you are healthy, everything is not important. Your father and I take it lightly." Yi Chen trembled as he looked at this middle-aged man who was always imposing in front of outsiders. Only in front of himself and his mother could he show concern. Obviously, he only believed that today's action was just a momentary impulse from Yi Chen. If Yi Chen reneged, he would not be the head of the house or the city. Although the location of the Lord of Luofeng City is very picturesque, compared to his family, it is not worth mentioning. Yi Chen's eyes turned slightly red, with an impulse to shed tears, but the man couldn't help but hold back his astringent eyes and smiled lightly. "Dad, don't worry, I will work hard. In 9 months, I will definitely pass the trial of Tiandu Academy." Yi Ao, who was not sure about Yi Chen's background, just thought that this was comforting himself. It was impossible to reach the trial qualification line of Tiandu Academy within 9 months, but he also did not want to undermine his son's cultivation confidence that he had finally established after his suicide. He sighed from the bottom of his heart and lightly patted his head, saying, "All right, it's late at night. Go back and rest. If there is anything missing in the future, try to tell your father, and he will fully support you." A gentle voice is worth 1,000 words, perhaps this is true fatherly love. Yi Chen clenched his fist tightly, no matter what it was for, just this care was enough to make him work hard and not disappoint his father. To truly become powerful, the first step is to repair the Dantian. Dantian is the most important place for practitioners in the early stages of cultivation, as it can store the energy produced during cultivation. Once broken, it almost means that the person's path of cultivation is abandoned. Of course, this is just for ordinary people. For alchemists like him, the breakage of the elixir field is not a problem at all, there are ways to repair it. However, before Yi Chen could find a way to repair the Dantian, he realized that over the years, the originally broken Dantian had slowly healed and reassembled for some unknown reason, and has since returned to its original state. This is also the reason why the last bit of strength in his body has not dissipated all along, always running at a slow and imperceptible speed, maintaining the great cycle of the universe. This surprised Yi Chen quite a bit. Even after searching through his memory, he had no choice but to invite a famous doctor when the shattered Dantian returned. However, he mysteriously restored the Dantian on his own, which is strange. At this point, Yi Chen began to suspect his physical condition. Bang! While contemplating in the yard, I accidentally stepped on a corner and almost fell to the ground. If it weren't for grabbing a corner of the rockery in time, I would have truly fallen. What a shame, it was just a cut in my finger. Look, isn't that a useless young master? It's really shameful. You could almost fall down on the road. Hee, keep your voice down, don't let me hear you, be careful not to let you lose your appetite. Yes, although it's a waste, there's always a good father. Some servants were whispering secretly, hiding in the distance, pointing and pointing. They didn't think Yi Chen could hear them, but unfortunately, after fusing memories, his perception also became much stronger. Even a fly flying 10 zhang away couldn't escape his perception. This is his treatment in the Yi family, which belongs to waste treatment, even servants dare to point fingers at him. Regarding this, Yi Chen could only smile helplessly. These days have been really bad. A few years ago, these servants treated themselves as real young masters, and their eyes looked at them with awe. However, once they became useless, even the servants did not regard them. Where have you really gone? Strength is still the top priority. Yi Chen suddenly exclaimed in surprise, as he noticed that the blood flowing from his finger wound had a faint golden glow flashing past, which was exceptionally eye-catching. It's strange. Am I still having some special physique? Yi Chen was secretly surprised. He remembered the mysterious recovery of Dantian and carefully watched a drop of blood. Under the sunlight, a drop of fresh blood lay quietly in the palm of the hand, ordinary and ordinary. However, under his strong perceptual ability, he discovered that there was a bit of obscure Jin Xia circulating deep in the blood, which could not be seen without careful observation. With golden blood. Yi Chen was greatly surprised. With his strong perceptual ability, he could clearly feel a terrifying force lurking beneath his blood, full of potential, but without any recovery, no different from ordinary blood. He felt that once this bloodline was opened, it would unleash tremendous potential, even accompanied by powerful forces. In all the realms of heaven and earth, there is always something strange, and there are always some special constitutions that are naturally powerful. Once their blood vessels are activated, they are at an astonishing level, surpassing martial gods and heavenly gods, all of which are ordinary. Even some people are incredibly powerful from birth. Yi Chen naturally knows a lot about what kind of person he was in his past life, and in this life, he is likely one of the special constitutions. He studied carefully until a long time later, when even he couldn't help but take a cold breath, he was shocked to discover a shocking fact: innate Holy Communion. End of this chapter. 10, Chapter 10. The Trial of the Emperor. Has it begun? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10. The Trial of the Emperor, has it started? In this lifetime, Yi Chen is actually an innate holy body. After learning this news, even as a person of 2 generations, he was shocked. He repeatedly felt the familiar power hidden deep in his blood before finally making a decision. Then, at the age of 16, a young and delicate face suddenly bloomed with a bright and sunny expression. The heavens have indeed treated him well. In his past life, he almost died, and in this life, he was given the physical body of an innate holy body. The so-called innate holy body refers to the battle holy body born from birth. In fact, for practitioners on the general level of cultivation, the holy body of fighting may seem quite unfamiliar, but when they enter a certain field of cultivation, they will truly come into contact with various information about the holy body of fighting, all of which are revealing the extraordinary aspects of this constitution. What is the Holy Communion of fighting? The world is vast, with countless heavens and territories, billions of creatures, and endless races, which can give birth to a variety of special and powerful constitutions. Those who possess these constitutions are naturally stronger and more talented than other cultivators. Each of these special constitutions is naturally strong and surpasses the average person. Generally speaking, each has its own strengths and weaknesses, making it difficult to evaluate who is strong and who is weak. Only through confrontation can it truly be presented. However, there are always a few constitutions that can stand at the top of countless powerful constitutions, and can be revered in all domains. Throughout history, no one has shaken their position. The Holy Communion of fighting can definitely be arranged in one of them. This kind of physique is rare in the world. Once you grow up, you will definitely be invincible. In his past life, he was able to be invincible and revered, pushing the invincible hand of the 3,000 realms horizontally, largely due to the Holy Communion of fighting. The holy body of fighting, once achieved, has an immortal golden body and will never be destroyed. However, it is worth mentioning that, unlike the innate strong physique, the Holy Spirit of fighting is the strongest combat body that has evolved and condensed through continuous cultivation. The prerequisite is to obtain the inheritance of the fighting saint and cultivate the fighting saint law in order to condense the fighting holy body. Otherwise, there is no other way to successfully cultivate it, and there is only one person in a generation. And this kind of inheritance, in order to obtain, can only be recognized by the previous generation of fighting saints. In Yi Chen's past life, he was a generation of holy warriors who cultivated the holy body of fighting and became known as the Holy King of Fighting. However, in his many years of understanding in his past life, he never knew who was the innate holy body, never born, perhaps only the ancestor of the fighting saint lineage. Now he was pleasantly surprised to find that the constitution possessed by this reincarnation and rebirth was actually an innate holy body. This physique, once fully revived, has endless divine power, an immortal golden body, and invincibility in all domains. Moreover, the innate holy body is probably more terrifying and has greater potential than the battle holy body cultivated after birth. This surprised him greatly. He thought he needed to work hard again to cultivate and spend a lot of time refining the holy body of fighting after reaching the martial god realm, but now it seems that all of this is unnecessary. Because it is an innate Holy Communion, as long as the blood of the Holy Communion is revived, it can directly become a Holy Communion of war. Moreover, he is confident in returning to the peak state of his past life in a shorter period of time. He is suspecting that the birth of his innate communion may be related to his parents or the entire family. Because throughout history, apart from the speculated lineage of battle saints, no one has ever been a true innate holy body. But in my memory, there seems to have been no outstanding figures born or flourishing in the entire family. It seems that I need to ask my father as the head of the family later. Taking a deep breath, Yi Chen managed to suppress the boiling blood and excitement in his heart, finally calming down. Because he deeply understands that even if it is a congenital holy body, the potential of the bloodline cannot be revived, and it is useless. If an ordinary person carries an innate holy body, it is useless because without specialized cultivation techniques, it is difficult to revive the blood vessels of the holy body, let alone become powerful and embark on the path of rebellion. Only by obtaining the Holy Spirit of fighting can one revive the bloodline of the holy body and become stronger, because this is an unparalleled dharma created specifically for the Holy Spirit of fighting. Yi Chen is very fortunate that he was a fighting saint in his past life, and has inherited this lineage. Even if his past life falls, the memory of inheritance has never been lost, deeply engraved in his soul. With infinite excitement, Yi Chen searched for a particularly secluded courtyard in the mansion. This is a courtyard with red bricks, blue tiles, rockery, small bridges, and flowing water. It was originally a luxurious courtyard and cannot be inhabited by important members of the family. However, it is overgrown with weeds and has not been repaired or taken care of for many years. It is now abandoned. Because someone had died before and was haunted, it caused panic throughout the entire lord's mansion, making this other courtyard particularly eerie and quiet. There was no one entering or leaving this place on weekdays, and even servants and maids had to avoid it by 3 feet, as can be imagined. However, it was precisely this quiet courtyard that caught Yi Chen's heart. He sat straight in the quiet room, cross-legged, with his eyes slightly closed, and took a light breath, trying to use the mysterious mind technique of the Dozhan saint's lineage. The holy method of fighting, since it is created for the purpose of the holy body of fighting, is also capable of activating the bloodline of the holy body. Just because the holy method of fighting is too domineering, Yi Chen dare not fully operate it and can only try to start from the very beginning. At the moment when Xiangong was in operation, Yi Chen felt all the blood in his body boiling instantly, with an indescribable force emerging, as if a terrifying ancient ferocious beast was sleeping in his body, awakening at this moment. Bang! A terrifying roar, a dazzling golden light overflowed from his body, and then exploded completely, shining brilliantly and attracting immense attention in an instant. A terrifying force overflowed in an instant, and within a radius of 3 zhang centered around Yi Chen, everything was destroyed. The entire house collapsed with a loud bang. Almost at the same time, Yi Chen flew backwards and fell to the ground more than 10 meters away, with blood continuously flowing out of his pores and staining his clothes red. It wasn't until a long time later that Yi Chen slowly got up from the ground, with intense pain spreading all over his body. Even he couldn't help but take a slight breath, his face pale, and his forehead covered in cold sweat. Because just now, a total of 31 bones had already broken inside his body, and countless muscles had been torn open. Even if it's just a move now, there is pain spreading that can make any ordinary person unconscious. This is the price of forcibly operating the holy law of fighting, causing him to suffer serious injuries. Undoubtedly, it is the most domineering fighting holy law. Even the innate holy body will be torn apart if it does not meet sufficient conditions. Yi Chen gave a bitter smile. The holy method of fighting is known as the supreme art of war, and only a true holy body of fighting can cultivate it. Because this is an unparalleled method created specifically to condense the strongest physical form of the holy body of fighting, only truly powerful physical bodies can cultivate it. Otherwise, if the physical strength does not meet the conditions and the holy body of fighting is forcibly activated, the martial arts will no longer be martial arts, but a demon that kills people. The domineering cultivation method will instantly tear apart the practitioner's physical body, shatter their bones, and destroy their form and spirit. Even though this life is an innate holy body, the bloodline has not been revived, and the body is not strong enough to withstand the operation of the fighting holy law. Fortunately, he only operated the initial part of the scriptures, which could also be due to his innate holy body. Otherwise, the dominance of Xiangong would be enough to tear him apart in the first place. But he also paid the price of almost dying from serious injury. Yi Chen lay on the dusty earth, covered in blood. Now, his muscles and bones were shattered, and his flesh was torn apart. Even with a flick, it was difficult to achieve it, and he secretly regretted his carelessness. This time it was just a stroke of luck, but if it were to be forcefully operated the next time, there is really a possibility of being completely shattered by the fighting holy law. This is not a joke. But now it's troublesome, with injuries all over, making it difficult to even move. Yi Chen had no choice but to deal with this, as he was no longer in his past life, unable to instantly recover his injuries, and his cultivation level was low, unable to activate the immortal powers in his memory. I'm afraid we can only wait for others to discover, otherwise in the long run, it will be troublesome. Buzzing, suddenly, a mysterious mark resembling a crescent moon appeared in Yi Chen's eyebrows, flowing a circle of misty light that covered his entire body, and a mysterious force emerged. Pai Li Pa La, to the naked eye, Yi Chen's injuries were rapidly recovering at an astonishing speed. In less than a moment, Yi Chen, who had been devastated by the tyrannical backlash of the fighting holy law, fully recovered. In the midst of Yi Chen's astonishment, a cluster of light suddenly appeared in the imprint of the moon, and then the light dissipated. A delicate and small tower with a hazy glow appeared, spinning in front of him. The trial appears, and the owner of the true throne, Qianyue, can obtain the qualification for the Emperor's trial. Do you choose to start the Emperor's trial? End of this chapter.